welcome back to Highly Animated Podcast, where we're going to try to make all of you guys like anime. I'm your host, Jason, sitting along with my co-host, Spencer.
What's up, fuckers?
Ooh, fuckers. That's right. You guys are all fuckers out there. We sit back behind the scenes. We talk about a lot of stuff. We're constantly getting better at this and changing. And we hope that the content we start bringing forward, you guys will really enjoy. We definitely have gotten some critiques from others, critiqued ourselves very tough. But, what do you think, Spencer? How do you think it's been going so far? 10 episodes in. I mean, this is 11. We're 10 deep now.
Yeah, did we even mention that we hit 10 last one? I mean, I think that's kind of like the
on that.
Yeah, dude, you scrub, bro. I think that's kind of like, well, and I mean, at the same point, right? You don't want to be 10, big deal, right? But I think even too from that standpoint, it was kind of an initial, like the initial goal with all of this, right? Like, hey, let's see if we can hit that mark, make it beyond that. And then obviously we did. I mean, we've been talking about it, throughout the process, right? Not some we like, some we don't like, certain aspects we think are strong, certain aspects aren't. So it's just kind of melding all of that together, getting it into the mixing pot, and letting it turn into the product we want. And
we're not here churning butter. We're just trying to start off hard.
Now you're putting out any excuses or anything, right? But we also both have a lot of commitments and other things that are going on. So it's like, even in and of itself, I mean, I think obviously, from my standpoint, early on, was episode 2 to 3 or 1 to 2, whatever. It was like a 3-week gap. I was gone. I had to go travel somewhere. Came back. Was only back for a few days. Had to go out again. So.
We're lucky I'm even here to do this episode. I mean, you never know what could have happened.
Yeah, seriously, so any given day, but I think we're definitely kind of trending on the right, right path. I think we've already, talked about, and hopefully maybe, hey, we come back in the future, we can come back, or other people can come back to this episode and be like, oh, shit, maybe this is what they were talking about. Oh, look how they're doing this. Look how they're doing that, right? And be like, yeah, that's right, motherfucker. We were playing the mind game out here.
I like what you said off air, though, for all you guys listening. We're still trying to stay true to ourselves. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good anime podcasts out there, and it's a small community, small niche. Like, even looking at them, I'm sure they hope to have more listeners and more followers, way more than where they're at. And they're awesome, and they're doing what they're doing. But for us, it was like, hey, how do we, in layman's terms, speak to the wider audience, to the people who are like, nope, not watching anime, don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, how do we, me and Spencer here, how do we come off to make, these episodes more enticing, right? And we talked about it. It's like, we're going to try to narrow the focus as we go. Today, it'll still be a couple shows, but we're going to try to narrow this focus down. Interviews are going to be the big thing. We want to interview and convince people so you can hear them, not just us saying it. You're hearing someone else who didn't have any interest, right? I think that's appealing to me. What do you think, Spencer?
No, I think that's probably been some of our most successful episodes to date right now, regardless of if it was just like, hey, we flooded friends with it, and friends were the ones kind of like, oh, what, you're interviewing Pat today? Oh, let me hear what that fucker got to say, right? So they can rib on him or whatever it is, right? But even too, at the same point, right? Like, it's still, even though they're our friends, we're trying to get them, hey, be as honest as you can be, right?
Absolutely. Don't just blow smoke up our ass.
Be out here, giving us the, oh yeah, okay, these are my buddies, I'm gonna say this, whatever, right? And I mean, I think it's come off like that, where it's like, hey, we'll kind of, jump them a little bit, where it's like, what the fuck, just shut the fuck up, right?
That's not what you really think.
Maybe not quite enough to where it is yet, right? But I think, as you mentioned, we maybe have not kind of settled into that mode, that comfortability level where it's like, hey, this is something that people like. This is what they wanted to see, and
yeah, we'll get there. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. That's the big thing with the socials we're trying to pump out, right? We haven't been very, very successful on the comments, and hey, you're listening right now, and you're like, oh man, I meant to comment the other day. Well, fucking comment already. All right.
I'm gonna cut one of my wrists if somebody does not
You know the suicide hotline?
Yeah, right. On the screen, it pops up, right?
Boo,
Call
boo,
this
boo.
number. But
And yeah, we've been saying we're on video too. I know. Recently, I found out the service that we use. I won't name drop them because I don't want them to sue us. You know, who knows if they're listening.
yeah.
But the service we use, you can only go up
What
to
if they
5 GB.
sponsor us though?
Maybe. Then we can talk shit about them.
Mm-hmm.
But 5 GB is the max, and these videos are like 7 gigs. So I'm gonna do my best to get on YouTube. So if you're like, hey, I want to see you guys keep saying you're on video, go to YouTube. They'll be there soon.
You need to know what you look like.
I have to know. But yeah, that'll be exciting and fun, and hopefully there's some clips that we can make that'll make it more enjoyable for everyone. We understand that sometimes the audio is just not enough, right? But we hope to be more enticing as the future comes on. We talked about Winter 2023 in the past, right? If you're a dedicated listener, you've heard us talk about the season and the 4 episodes that are out there. I don't actually think the one I'm going to bring up technically it's before that, but I'll bring up that one
Like
after.
20.
It's a 24 episode one. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, so it started a couple months technically. So what is that? That's like fall season, maybe end of fall season, beginning of winter, something like that. So I'll save that one. You've heard me talk about it before, but I want to talk about it more in depth because I watched more of it last night. But the one that I watched that I brought up to you that I actually really enjoyed, that I want to break down for people to listen out there, like, hey, I want to watch a brand new show. I don't want to watch some of the old stuff you guys have watched. Oh, that's all good. One Piece is the go. Okay, Jason, Spencer, we get it. But I want to watch something brand new. I'm not watching 900. Excuse me.
I think that's a good point. Even outside of just us who's have already watched it, like if you're trying to get in with a crowd that's already watching anime, already kind of solidified in that, like, yeah, watch anime, bro. What's good, dude? Like, check, boom, 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 boom. These shows, right? And you're trying to be like, oh, well, dude, have you heard of this show? Did you watch this show? Right? You know, like that. That's what a new season's almost all about. You'd be like, oh, well, there's this new fucking show out, dude. It fucking slaps. Like, you seen it? And they're like, oh, what? Is that an anime? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Yeah. Like, I've never heard. Let me look into it, and then all of a sudden you get that validation, like, yeah, dude, you were right. That shit fucking kills. You know? But
that's all I'm ever looking for from you.
be better.
Be better. Oh, okay. Well, this one isn't the one that we're going to talk about towards the end of the show that you're going to check out, but I'm hopeful you'll check this one out too. Show's called Revenger. Brand new show this season. The picture, if you were to look at it, it's got a dude's face with a sword, and in the reflection, you can see a couple more characters. Full disclaimer for anyone listening, I do my best not to give out stuff, but if you've never watched a show and you're like, oh shit, I want to start it, and I want to come back and listen, then hey, stop here, come back. But I won't go too in depth. I'm going to go more about like the action sequences about it, how the characters kind of play out, and those kind of things without trying to name too much. For me, I think we should go show ratings. You know what I mean? We did that last time, and I think we'll start doing that going forward, right? I give this one
show ratings like
out of 10. Out of 10. Like how
okay.
MAL does it. You know what I mean? We're gonna try to take those fuckers down. And I actually, speaking of, I should pull up MAL just to see what their rating is. But
don't get scrapped. People just call it the mall.
Mall list.
Yeah.
I want my mall list.
The L of mall is
list. But Revenger for me, solid 7.9. I don't want to go 8. Not quite. And I'm not done. It's not done.
It's good still. I mean, honestly, right? I mean, you look at the grand scheme of some shows that I can't even remember, dude. We should have done like a call back to the fucking first episode when we're ripping that fucking that site, right? But it was like, you know, Funimation's like it's got like a 6 something rating or Funimation. One Piece has like a 6 something rating. Like some of the shows that were more like, hey, like these are fucking. I think people get too caught up in like, oh, you know, for a 50 episode stretch, it was kind of subpar.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, we're 1,000 episodes in. You think I give a fuck about 50 episodes at this point, dude? Like,
Dude.
give me a break.
That's the thing we talked about in the past, right? Fresh ears, fresh eyes, keep an open mind. You're just that's why we want to do this show. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these people are just so oblivious to everything going around. I'm like, art's art, dude. If it's good, it's good. Like, and this is a medium where you can show a unique, or maybe for us Westerners and other people, a more unique style of art that still has a kick-ass fucking storyline. And hey,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to watch a sub? Fine, be like me. Wait for the dub. There's great English voice actors that kill this shit. It's on Netflix. It's on Hulu. It's on fucking Crunchyroll. It's on, you know what I mean? It's everywhere. We talked about in previous episodes. It's worldwide. So these people that are like, like Pat last episode, we were kind of I was starting to rib him more like,
Yep.
hey, come on, be honest. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really about it. Yeah, you're not giving them a fair shake.
And that's probably what I love the most about what's happening right now, with our number one fan who's finally, embarked on the One Piece, adventure. I mean, here he is now. Fuck, I mean, he's closing in on halfway, right? He's 400 something into there. But I mean, like, for me, obviously, probably more he's probably gonna share a lot of it with you right now. But I'm almost like reliving the show vicariously through him, right? It's like, and obviously we have the huge time gap, so it's like, I'm in fucking work in a fucking meeting, like,
Charlie Brown voices.
I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck, dude? Like, oh, bro, Luffy just fucking done. I'm like, oh shit, what, dude?
Man, I remember that like 3-4 years ago, dog. Yeah.
And I broke it down. I think it was some shit like we're fucking 7. It was like 7 years ago we started watching or some shit already.
7? Oh my god!
I broke it. Well, maybe a little bit farther than from you, but I broke it down to where I had to switch from sub to sub, which was obviously at a super critical point. That's probably the only reason I remember it. And then I was like, okay, so that's when I had to start watching sub. From then on to where we're at now, there's been X amount of subbed episodes, right? And then do the math all the way back.
You're a little mathematician, dude.
Finding out, like, okay, it was like, fucking 3,000 some days or whatever. Or 30,000 some days.
I want to make a good comparison right here. But you can insult me because I'm forgetting his name right now. That's really bad too. You just totally reminded me of the main character, Dr. Stone.
Senku.
You're Senku right there. You're like, 8,000 times.
It's like all these like fucking. Like,
you're Senku right there, dude.
This is gonna get you the square root of this, and then you're gonna take that.
And square root's gonna come to this, and we'll have cell phones. And you're like, what the fuck? I love that show. I can't wait for that new season. But that's neither here nor there. But I hear what you're saying, right? People are not keeping an open mind. That's the main point we're saying right there. Hey, keep an open mind.
But beyond that, to get back to Revengers, right? I mean, like I said, we've mentioned it before. I think I gave it probably not a glowing, like, and I have not watched it. I did not watch it. I don't know anything about it. It was like, hey, look at this picture. And I'm just like, generic picture. I don't hate it.
6.64 on Mal.
It doesn't necessarily, catch my attention and like, beg like, hey, like this might be a fucking banger, right? Like, even too, as I kind of go through this, like, there's not, like, let me see, like, for whatever reason, the first thing it's given me after watch list is memorable openings. Keep Your Hands Off Izukian. I mean, looks kiddie, looks like I wouldn't watch this. Black Clover looks cooler, but honestly, if I've never watched Black Clover before, I'd be like, kind of on the fence with it. Cowboy Bebop, obviously classic, watched it, loved it. The picture they're showing me on here, I'm like, Attack on Titan, again, watch it, love it, fucking watch the hour episode, fuck you, Mappe, give us a whole fucking season, slaps.
Fuck you guys.
This is a little more interesting to me. I'm like, oh, wait, what the fuck's going on? These guys are like diving down to some shit. They're getting sucked into some fire tornado or whatever, right? Then I got Chainsaw Man up here, and That actually, it does look somewhat interesting, but after I've talked to some other people who watch it, and it's kind of seems to be on the fence about it, a little hit or miss. I'm like, whatever. And then
Yeah, not
it gets,
thrilled with how the
it
main
gets
character
to
acts like a dog.
Naruto, which is like fucking
Yeah.
I
So
can't.
what you're saying is, you look at the picture of Avenger, it looks generic. You know what I mean? So right away, it doesn't appeal to you necessarily right away. And hey, the rating
Yeah.
on MAL might
Yep.
speak to that. It's a 6.64. I say it's a 7.9. So there's a big discrepancy between what the general public thinks and what I think. For me, I don't. Hey, this comparison, this might be a hot button for some people. You know what I mean? We do this a lot, and I think I'm going to continue doing it because I like it, because it's easy for us and it's easy for people listening to relate to. Maybe
Yeah. Fuck you, disclaimer. I haven't watched this shit either, so don't give a lot away.
I'm not going to. I'm going to say what it
Okay,
reminds me
good.
of, TV wise or movie wise.
Okay.
We do that a
Okay.
lot.
Yep.
Kill Bill. Now, Quentin Tarantino, you're a god, and Kill Bill's amazing. I'm not saying Revenger's on Kill Bill level, but if I was to sift through, like, okay, Jason or Spencer, hey, tell me a TV show or movie I like what you guys do that. Tell me one that's like an anime, and I'll watch that anime. I think that'll be more appealing to people that are trying to get into it, because it's something that's known. You know what I mean? They're going into something unknown and they want something familiar. Well, hey, maybe we'll do a little bit of that as we go forward. But that's what I saw. For you to not give it away, Kill Bill vibes. You know what I mean? You've seen Kill Bill. So
A little over the top, a
little
little like
over the top of how old Japanese movies were. You know what I mean? Old martial arts and other shit. Kind of gave me those vibes a little bit. You know what I mean? So as far as the action goes, definitely going to get your fair share of a little bit of, savagery, some, again, I won't give away too much. Characters. I like the main character, not in love. As far as a revenge standpoint goes, I think they could have done it up a little bit better. But hey, who am I? I'm not a fucking writer, so what do I know? But all the other characters that he proceeds to meet, the dynamic, I was telling you this off air, very, for me, but a more mature level, Demon Slayer-esque. Like, just gives you that kind of warm feels, kind of those kind of smile, chuckle moments, even though a lot of the shit going on is very serious. You know what I mean? I think that's a balance that most people that watch TV enjoy, So just based off of that, a little more appeal, a little more, hey, maybe I'm kind of trying to watch it. No, like what are the things that stand out for you, Spencer? Or for the average listeners out there, drop a comment. What's going to stand out to you to make you go, okay, Jason, I'm going to try it. Or, okay, Spencer, I'm going to try it.
Of that show?
Yeah, what I just said. Is that not enough? Like, what else should I say without giving too much away? You know what I mean? Like, break down what I said.
Yeah, if the explanation you just dropped is that like, hey, all right,
I'm not saying it's amazing. I'm just trying to,
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a standpoint of somebody who's never watched before, like that's probably an easy way to go about it, right? Like you might have like, I don't ever watched anime before. You're like, oh, it's like Kill Bill. I'd be like, oh, Kill Bill, okay, yeah, like Volume 2 or what, right?
Yeah, damn it, I don't know.
And be like, oh, okay, well, I enjoyed that movie. I like that movie. I'll watch it. I think again, you get a lot of the preconceived bias from like, okay, Revengers, boom, we go. Oh, okay, Revengers right there. I see the picture, generic. Okay, let me open it up. No. I read the. Maybe share what the fucking description is. What's the show description?
Show description. Okay. Tricked into assassinating his own prospective father-in-law, righteous samurai Raizo Kuriyama, I'm sure I butchered that, is overwhelmed with guilt. In order to reclaim his honor, Reizo swears vengeance on the Lord who gave him those misleading orders. In his pursuit, he's aided by self-proclaimed merchant of all trades, Yuan Yusi, who is actually one of the Revengers, assassins who seek justice from the wronged and dispense bloody revenge on their behalf.
So you say that last part right there, where we're seeking justice against the evil and I immediately think of fucking Assassin's Creed. That's what I immediately think. Now, after reading that last part, hearing you read that last part, I'm already that much more intrigued. right?
So,
You know,
yeah,
so
one
I
aspect.
think it's the pairing of the
Yeah,
picture, the title, and if people dig deep enough into it, hey,
yeah,
what's the rating? What are the reviews? What are people saying about it?
yeah.
It just really depends on how like obviously like me, you know, I'm a lazy fuck, so I don't go anything outside of like this fucking mic, dude. It fucking
Bothering you, huh?
doesn't fucking go outside anything. You know, I mean, we've talked about it before, right? Crunchyroll UI is a lot better than it was, but it still sucks dick. I wish it was more like fucking Funimation's UI. I don't know why it's not. They own them now, but
Right? Can you reach out to us, Crunchyroll? Can you let us know
well,
why?
suckers like me who still fucking pay for both of them and like, oh look, we're doubling up on our fucking income.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, from that standpoint, it's definitely a entices me more when I hear the description of what the show is going to be. I don't know at this point that I would immediately be like,
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not putting on pause the shows I'm watching right now to watch that.
Yeah.
It didn't grip me enough like that, and it's not that it you know that and I think that's an important factor. This is going to be an important factor. It's not
Yeah.
that it didn't grip me as much as you didn't sell me on it as much. And
Yeah.
not you personally, but more like you being like, bro, I just watched this fucking like when Attack on Titan came out and somebody first told you
Mhm.
about Attack on Titan
Oh yeah.
or like some shit like that, right? It's like, bro, this show, like if you don't watch this fucking show,
Yeah.
like you fucking
Yeah.
don't talk to me again. Just
Right.
like
Jump off a cliff.
get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see your fucking face again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
some shit like that. Like bro, that like this shit is unbelievable. Like it's fucking. I I was supposed to be getting with some bits that night, dude, and I started watching the show. I ain't even boop, get out of
Hey, get out of here. I got
here.
some too.
Whoa, you know, and you're locked in, right? Like you're so
Yeah.
locked in. Like for me, like some fucking shit, you know. Sometimes I'll read some fucking you know, some manga, some manhwas, right? And I'll be like,
Oh, uh-huh.
oh shit, like, you know, hey, here's your free fucking shit, right? You know, and I'd be like, so fucking good. I'm like, here, take my coins, take my ink, whatever it is, right? I'm paying money to be like, I need to know, like, I gotta see what's happening. Like, that's how fucking good it is,
There's
right?
tons of people out there like, oh, I bought the new book of this and that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus,
Like,
dude.
I got the light novels, I got the toys. I mean, fuck,
Yeah.
that's the whole toy industry. Or fuck,
Model
what do they call them?
figures.
Funko Pop fucking
Oh,
things
Funko Pops. Yeah, I've
are
heard of those.
fucking like super popular.
Yeah. So, yeah, Revengers 7.9 for me. There is
Mm.
one. I'll give away one other thing. And
Like side note right now, I just got a text right like, yo, a tribe of Amazon women just got done beating the fuck out of Luffy. Ha, 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 like hella ha-has, right?
hey, number one fan, keep watching.
One, I love what that means. That means he just hit the fucking time skip.
Yeah.
Two,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's
He's
right.
about to meet my fucking Wafu number one, dude. Like,
That's right. Wafu. Can you explain that for people listening out there? What that means?
I can explain it from a fucking like
Uh huh.
a white guy perspective. That's
Okay,
like your
white guy perspective. Let's
that's
go.
like your ideal. That's like your dream girl, dude. That's like your dream girl, right?
Uh,
Dude,
can I
like,
guess number one?
like if you were real big, like what what's up, like
Can I
I
guess
said
number one?
what?
Can I guess number one? Waifu.
Did I not just say that's who it was?
Oh, I thought you said it was number two. Oh, my bad. My
Oh,
bad. Oh,
how
I
dare
was going
you?
to say
But
Albedo.
go ahead. Yeah.
Mm.
That'd be a close second for sure. She's
Okay.
definitely more on my level of like the intense side of things. I'd say
Yeah, but I
you know.
mean, I think you need an intense woman, dude, knowing you. So you need that stern, little backhand every once in a while. I think Albedo will set you straight. But your number Wafu could as well, but she's got a little more soft side to her, I believe.
Did you just call her Wafu?
Waifu, so whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know.
Waifu?
Is that what
No,
it's called?
yeah.
Waifu?
I
Waifu?
thought you were referring to the person I was talking about.
No.
Yeah, no, Wafu. It's like a Waifu. Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen people talk about it before, but I was never really sure what it meant.
I mean, that's a standard. Like, I mean, it's essentially just like a super fucking.
That's like otaku and all that shit. Like I don't.
It, yeah, that's so different. That's like somebody who's like fucking, super like over. I don't even like. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Fucking what it is. But, yeah, no, I mean it getting shit like that too. It's just like, oh, I get stoked up on that. I'm like, oh, I love to know where you're at right now. Like dude, like as he's been watching this, I have a website open that literally tells me, just because like it's hard to be like, dude, I'm at this episode and fucking this.
Oh,
this
it's so long ago, dude.
And I'm like, fuck, dude, and like so like the website literally tells me like, okay, this arc at episodes, fucking 408 to 417, right? And the correlating manga chapters are these chapters, right? And it kind of goes down the line of like as he's going forward. So like I give little tidbits from like, oh, bro, you're about to get like that, just to kind of keep them like, because sometimes you hit those filler arcs where it's just like, right, and like so you keep them going forward. I'm like, bro, you're about to hit my fucking favorite arc ever, dude. You're about to hit where I fucking had to stop watching
dubbed and go
sub, dude.
Dude, like, you're going to the part where Jason finally started watching subs, bro.
I mean, so you hit him with that shit. So just like you're reciprocating this fucking like, yo, I'm excited you're fucking getting here. I'm excited you're hitting me up about it, right? So
I think mine was right at, just side note. We're doing double side note here. I think mine was right when
I don't even know you should say specifically when.
I can't say anything. I'll ruin it.
For at least this individual, right? Like because this individual gets us views and stuff. So
fair point. So yeah,
but I already kind of gave it away when I said fucking.
You did.
I said earlier.
You did. But yeah, nice job.
We're not going to go into it any more than that. We're not going to go into,
so
if people actually listen and know what we're talking about, like they'll be able to, pick up on that. But
so Revengers.
So Revengers. All right, 7.9 for you. I haven't watched it. I'm not. I mean,
just yes or no. It doesn't matter whether you're going to or not. That's between you later.
Right now, no.
Okay, boom. There it is. You know what I mean? So you got mine. You got Spencer's. And again, we're not trying to always be fair here. There might be some. Again, Spencer's never watched it. He doesn't really know. You know what I mean? He's saying no right now just based on some of the small surface details, which I think is kind of like, I'm glad I push you to say that way, because that's what everyone else is at right now, right? Everyone else is listening. That maybe is anime. They see this, they see that, and they have a preconceived notion of something. They go, nope. You know what I mean? That's why here's fresh eyes, and the open mind, and that. That's why we're trying to keep an open perspective on everything. And speaking of open perspectives,
side note, I think that gives it a little bit of a negative connotation, though, right? Like,
how so?
For open with it, it's that. For me specifically, I already have other shows that I'm watching that I'm going to continue to watch those.
Disclaimer: if you already watch anime and stuff, you're not going to stop something based out of your wheelhouse. So that's unfair to Spencer. But we're assuming you listening out there, maybe you like anime. Maybe you read more manga than you do watch. Maybe you don't watch anime at all. Maybe you're my grandpa. Maybe you're my mom. Maybe you're someone listening right now, and even them, I'm trying to work on and say, hey, at least check something out so you can tell me, hey, yes, this, no, this.
Give me that back massage. Come on. You got this.
Hey, you're going to watch the show. It's okay. Speaking of giving out, speaking of, the fight for number one, our, guest, Pat, I did a little, when he'll listen to this and he'll say something to me once it's out. Patrick! He's on episode 10 of Samurai Champloo.
Well, what, he started like a week and a half ago?
I don't know when he started. But
how many episodes are in that? 24.
I could find out real fast.
Pretty sure it's a 24. It's more than a 12. I mean, but I say that because I think like a
It's
few days after,
26. 26.
yeah, a few days after you told me, he was like, you were like, yeah, he's on episode 2, and he hit me and he's like, it's the most badass shit I've seen. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, like
But
you
you know,
watched.
that speaks to the larger people that haven't watched it.
I'm proud that Pat watched that. I mean, I'm not surprised. Samurai Champloo is the past version of Cowboy Bebop, and he
Yeah.
loved Cowboy Bebop, right?
Mhm.
Like they're very like
Similar.
people
Same director, right?
them very much.
Same writer or director, I think.
I don't know. I don't know that.
Okay.
But I mean they I wouldn't be surprised because they are very like similar. It's like you could almost take the Cowboy Bebop crew and swap them with the Samurai Champloo crew.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off here. Fuck that shit, dude. I'm not even. No, I love it. It's great. We'll talk about it with Pat next time because we're not talking about that. We're taking away goddamn airtime for what I want to talk about. You said I'm gonna talk about shows. I don't wanna talk about.
You're right. Okay, fair enough. Go ahead, take it away.
Hate to cut you off. It's a good point.
Dude,
I'm gonna take it away. Your mic is poppy, dude. I don't know if you know this, dude. We're gonna have to test this on the back end. Anyways, speaking of convincing,
that fucking sucks.
Oh, my headset sucks. Okay. I was talking about the show with you a bunch of times. You've told me no every time. You're gonna still say no, but I'm gonna disclaimer. I'm going to ruin the show. If you've not seen the show that I'm about to mention, I'm gonna ruin it because I have to go in depth with this guy. Otherwise, I'll never fucking convince him. And even though it'll ruin it from a little bit, there's no way he's ever gonna watch the show unless I ruin it for him and tell him how good it is. So, without further ado, Blue Lock.
Oh, geez, a soccer show.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Again, that's right. You can see, if you can see his face, you can see the despair. If you can't, you can just hear it in his voice. You can hear it right now. Mega popular show. And this kind of ties to how
popular. Oh, okay.
Mega.
So I didn't hear about it until you brought it up. Okay.
Okay. Well, I just think you're not on the forums enough. You know, you're not a social media guy. So, anyways,
fair enough.
Anyways, I was about to give you props here because this kind of ties into how I get about shows sometimes. To be fair, you know what I mean. I said the same thing about Vinland Saga, and you weren't. You know what I mean. Yes, everything outside the main character, you're like dope. But right, we've already talked about it. You're like main character Thorfinn, he's a fucking bitch. That's what ruined it for the show for me. I think the flip side happens in this one where, yes, I can see the potential for the main character developing maybe a little too slow for you, maybe. But he turns it on in this back half of the season. You know what I mean? And it's a way more mental show. Then, like, yes, it's about soccer. Yes, they're gonna be kicking the soccer into the fucking net, or the ball into the net, and all that kind of shit, right? Like anything that goes with it. But it is not a typical like, oh hey, it's 11-on-11 soccer. You know what I mean? Not even fucking remotely. So the premise of the show is Japan doesn't have a good national team, and it was great timing for whoever made Blue Lock. They dropped it when the World Cup was out. So I mean that was great timing on their part. This is not winter 2023, but it's like halfway in between those, right? Between the fall and the winter season, because still there's like one more episode to come out. 23 subs so far. I've watched 20 dubbed. I need to watch 2 more dubbed to be caught up, I think. Or no, it might be
20. It's only a 22 dub season.
No, it's 23 subbed so far, 20 dubbed episodes out. So I think they're 3 behind. I think it's kind of the standard.
And you said you
I think there's 2 more, but I could be wrong. Is what I'm saying.
You were at 20. You watched 20.
I've watched 20 dubbed.
So there'll be 4 more episodes you need to watch if you watch dubbed.
to finish. Yes, to finish.
Okay.
So to the point that we're at right now, keep it in mind all you want, because where we're at now is just getting better and fucking better. So I anticipate it being really, really good. Premise of the show. Striker. Do you know what a striker is? Let's go right there right away.
They strike the ball.
Good. Yes, you're right. The striker is the frontmost forward person. They call it like a forward, like Messi. He's a striker. You know who Messi is. Everyone in the world who knows who Messi is. Congratulations on your World Cup, by the way.
Yeah, you saw that fucking restaurant. He went to some
With
restaurant.
his family, and you see his face. They're all
Everybody figured out he was at that restaurant. There was like
proud
fucking
of it.
10,000 people outside of the
Oh
restaurant.
yeah, he'll never live a normal day again, dude. I mean, he already was super famous, but now with the World Cup. Anyways, congratulations, Messi. You're awesome. So Japan hasn't won a World Cup, right? And the premise is they got this like nerdy dude, but you could just
Won
tell.
the World Baseball Championship, though.
Yeah, dude, that hurts.
Tony, dude. It's
Dude.
Mike Trout, bro.
I saw it. I saw the fucking clip.
Angel on angel crime.
Dude, that locker room conversation is gonna be great. But anyways, so they have like the nerdy dude, but he's like kind of dark and twisted. That's like heading up Blue Lock essentially, right? He's come up with this grand scheme and system to make the best striker in the world, right? That's kind of in the beginning, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. Like if you're not into soccer, especially, you're like, I'm not gonna watch this anymore. I don't give a fuck who's the best striker in the world.
He's like manager-esque,
like a manager of all these individuals, and it ends up being 300 of them, right? So 300 of the finest strikers from around Japan.
This team is only filled with strikers.
All strikers. There's no other position.
So everybody on soccer is a striker.
No, in real soccer, no. In real soccer, no. And that's what I'm saying. That's why the show gets more interesting because they get to a portion where they're going to play a 5-on-5 or something like that, and one of them has to be a goalie, even though he's not a fucking goalie. And
he's
it's like
striker.
He's a striker, and he's deemed to be the worst on the team. So like, dude, you're playing fucking striker. You know what I mean?
You better use your hands because you can't use your feet.
Yeah. Oh no, you can use your feet, but it's like you can use your hands too. But anyways.
No, I'm saying like you suck so bad that we don't even want to see you use your hands.
And there's a lot of that dynamic going on in the show. There's a lot of fucking fuck you. There's a lot of and for those that are just listening, he's like, that went over your head. Fuck you, dick. You gotta do the sound effect next time.
It would have ruined it, yeah.
So there's a lot of that dynamic going on where they're like eating each other up to like get to the top of the food chain, you know what I mean? So in the very beginning, 300 strikers, they come in and they give like the whole spiel, right? It's very like fucked up. It's like almost like a setup, you know what I mean? You came there to be the best striker in the world, and all of a sudden they got you by the balls, you know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, if you join Blue Lock and you come through these doors, if you lose, you're done playing soccer forever. You can never join the national team. You can never play professionally. So don't go through these doors unless you're fucking serious. And then you have all these guys like, that can't be serious. It's almost like Sword Art Online when they get fucking trapped. Like, no way, we're not trapped in here. Like, very similar vibe where you're like, hold on, what the fuck?
Oh, wow.
And it's like a mind thing where it's like the strong, which like the main character is one of the first ones, or if I recall correctly, I think he's one of the first ones, or like very soon after, where it's like, I want to be the best striker in the world. I want to be the best striker in the world. I don't care about all these fucking guys. I don't care if I'll never play soccer again. And he starts running for the door, and then hella people start going for it, right? Meets the first dude, right? The dude that he walked in with, he knew him, whatever, right? He's another great striker, blah, blah, blah. He beat the main character. Like in the very first beginning, it's like they're playing high school or something like that, I think, and it's like the state championship, and he fucking loses, right? The main character. He's like, oh man, like he should have shot the goal and he passed it, or he didn't pass it, all this stuff, right? And he fucks up and he's all in his head. And I can see why people right away might be kind of turned off, because it's kind of a slow burn right in the very initial beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets to it right away. I don't know I think it's the second episode, maybe third at the latest. But it's like right away he meets that dude again. It's all good. They kind of buddy up and like, oh hey, don't worry about that game. We're gonna get better together. Da 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 da. And they get in, and the very first game is in a room, right? It's like a not super big room, definitely not as big as a soccer field. And it's like there's like all these guys enter, and there's like I think there's 12.
2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. So I think there's 12 There's some set number because the next number is the amount that the team's going to be. I can't remember if they go 11 people right away though or not. I am dropping the ball on that a little bit. I want to say it's 5, and so it was 6 in the room at one time, but it could be 12 in the room to get down to 11, or it's 6 to get down to 5. So what happens is they have a ball, right? They drop the soccer ball, and it's like, okay, and like the fucking weird manager dude's like, all right, so the game, whoever is hit by the ball last and can't hit someone back with the ball loses. You're done forever. So essentially it's tag with a soccer ball. I hit you with the ball, you're it, and now I'm trying to avoid getting hit with the soccer ball the whole time.
God, that sounds like a lot of running.
Yeah, shit ton of running, right? And there's one sequence way down the road where they do like the training. It's like one part to get to the next part, and they're just like with oxygen masks and shit on. It's hella funny, but it's hella dope too. At the same time, it's like, damn, these guys go through the grinder. Like they're going through the grinder for this shit. So, they're playing tag, right? Essentially, so the blonde dude and like there's another dude he meets that you can kind of start seeing the bond kind of coming together where. And he has this what do they call it? He has a monster inside of him. That's how they identify this. That's how they start identifying like the good players. The monster inside them is like their special ability, essentially. So this show does have like kind of like a special ability-esque thing where the main characters is like spatial awareness and like a fucking a rock solid shot or some shit. Another one's like super speed. Another one's like great dribbling and handling. Another one, you know what I mean? There's all these kind of variants, but they don't.
Right.
They come out slowly. You know what I mean? But the one other character who you think's gonna be a bad guy ends up being a good guy. They end up becoming really close. And so in that moment, the guy that he was friends with on the outside or just became friends with that beat him in the soccer game, whatever, and he knew who he was, and they kind of like, hey, let's do this together. And then he sees another dude that's hella good that's like the villain, but right in the middle of it, the fucking bad dude, there's time's ticking. Boom, someone's going to lose. Time's ticking, right? The bad dude kicks the ball up into the air, essentially like monkey in the middle, over the good dude that main character dude liked, over him. It's going to hit him, the main character, so he kicks it as the time goes off and hits the dude that he was initially friends with to end his career, essentially. So the bad dude kicks it up to him, and he goes, boom, and hits the dude, and he like hits him, and the time goes off, and he goes, well, and he has this huge mental breakdown. Like the face of the character and everything's like, are you fucking kidding me? There's no way I'm done. Fuck this shit. Like as he's being walking out, and it's like so like, what? And then right there I was hooked. Right there I was hooked. And so it keeps going more and more, and they start developing their like chemical reactions to each other to like intertwine their moves together, and it's really cool, dude. It's a different take on soccer. So based on that, without me reading synopsis or anything, and I've heard the and you know what I mean, and obviously I could tell like you're genuinely like, oh, okay. Any more or less from when we talked about it before? And sorry to ruin it for those that might be listening, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely more interested probably than I was before. I mean, I think the whole
Not that you're gonna stop
aspect,
anything to watch it, yeah.
Yeah, the whole betrayal aspect. You know, he's oh hey, we're buds and we're gonna do this together, and then like psycho, you fuck you. Or maybe not. I mean, maybe it wasn't like a psych fuck you, but that's how they make it appear. You know, well, I mean, hey, that's how they make it appear early on to draw you.
And I think that's mindset striker. Like what they're trying to set up is, hey, you have to be selfish. You got to want to score to win. You want to be the best, you got to score, right? And so, anyways, yeah, I'm telling you, one of my top shows of the year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, and I think even too, like, you know, on the top anime most watched, like week to week, it's always been up there in like the top 10.
4.9 on Crunchyroll out of like 50 something thousand votes or some shit like that. Let me see. I could double check it right now. 75,000 ratings, 4.9. What are you looking at on your phone, huh? What you doing down there?
Nothing.
Yeah, don't you nothing me, bitch. Are you looking at the show? You adding it to your playlist?
No, I was just fucking looked at.
I already got to pull up on my fucking Crunchyroll right here. I see it.
You see it?
I don't see anything that's gonna be, you know, like, hey, I'm not against it. I am totally not like. If anything, I'm probably more into it now. Hey, I'm not gonna watch it tonight. I'm not gonna fucking like, hey, I'm breaking everything to go watch this. But I am certainly kind of like what I said, right? You know, and I think I brought this up in a couple episodes back, right? You know, sport animes are kind of a very like. There's a finite line between like, hey, this and this is obviously this is obviously a lot different between like, you know, people who have been athletes, right? You know, who have played some of these. You know, I played soccer. You know, I played basketball. I played football, right? You know, and so you have a different thought process behind it, and then so like, you know, I think even too going back to like one of your friends and an old friend, like, you know, who dealt in like, you know, you think about Fire Force, right? You know, like maybe they couldn't get behind it because like this is not realistic to what I've experienced and what I've done.
Yeah.
And then so we think about it from a sports standpoint. I think the first thing I told you when it was like, hey, can you get behind this show? It's just like, well, hey, like for me, like it's not like some superhero shit, some superpower shit for sports, right? Like it is what it is.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. But, I get what you're saying. So yeah, you know, I mean, hey, you said your point, right? Like, I mean, you summed it up kind of perfectly. It's like, hey, more intrigued, not gonna watch it right away. You didn't do enough to be like, hey, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to really pitch something where you're like, I'm dropping what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, but leading into the next show, I want to read the synopsis here. I want to talk about this. Something me and Spencer, he's gonna watch. So we'll get his opinion at the end of my little monologue here. But the show is called The Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist in Another World. So this show's an isekai. It's brand new, winter 2023. I definitely highly recommend it. It's not all the way caught up dubbed. I think it's 7 or 8 episodes in. I've caught all the way up to that point. I'm not going to give away anything in this show, so if you're listening now, don't worry. I won't give away too much, but I'm going to read the synopsis. So the synopsis is, betrayed and on the brink of death, genius exorcist Hiroshi Kuga still has an ace up his sleeve. A reincarnation spell with a successful incantation taking him to a new world reborn as Sika Lamperogue. I'm sure I fucked that up. Into a distinguished wizard family. His only wish is to find happiness, but as Sika's Onmoyo art, I definitely fucked that up, exceeds his world's magic, will he be able to live an easy, happy-go-lucky life? And so, to sum up the synopsis, it's an isekai, reincarnated into the world. He was a badass in his previous life, and it ended horribly.
Yep.
And he wants to right that wrong. You know what I mean? And that's why he has that ace, like I said in the synopsis, I got an ace up my sleeve still, you know? And so he reincarnates. And I love it from the standpoint of pacing. You know what I mean? I said, you know, I don't want to give away too much on this because you're going to watch it tonight or, you know, soon. You know what I mean? I mean, whenever you get to it. But after you're done with your...
I got 3 left in the one I'm watching, but yeah.
Yeah. So... what I think the show does well is like, pacing is first.
And you finished it?
No. I was saying it's dubbed to 8.
To 8. Okay.
So we still got a couple more to go. But even that being said, I'm fully behind it. As far as isekais go, it's up there for me. It's not like way up there because there's how many isekais? 10,000. But and that list is
to
like
this point, it resonates with you enough to mention it.
Absolutely. That's a great point. I'm glad you brought it up like that. So, and because everyone that knows me or is listening to the show, they're like, damn, Jason just always is talking so highly about these isekais. Well, that's kind of my lane. Like, Pat City has his lane. Don't get me wrong. I'll watch plenty of other pussy. But that's not fair because you know I'll watch other
like
stuff.
Tight pussy, like fat pussy, a whore.
Yeah. Okay.
R-rated, don't listen.
But I watch different shows for sure. But that is definitely first and foremost kind of my favorite genre, right? But yeah, I mean, I sit here and I think like, what can I say without ruining the show for people? You know, I mean, what can I say?
And that's what's crazy too, like that you don't even give like fucking some of these mangas and some of these like manhwas a chance. Like the majority of them you can read for free. Is like that is where all of this shit is coming from. Like these manhwas and these mangas are fucking light years ahead of the shows that we're getting right now. Like the shows we're getting right now that are what we call isekai are like the manhwas and mangas that came out fucking 10 years ago. That are like, oh my god, look, this shit's got 50 million views now? Oh, let's turn this into a fucking show. It hit 50 million. Like, we need to, right?
That's a fair point.
Like, some of the ones that I read now, I'm just like I said, I'm like, holy fuck, you know, like, I drop $100 fucking every couple months to get more coins, more ink, more whatever, so I can continue to fucking read this shit, right?
There you go.
Like, this shit is just so good. Like, I'm just like, I need to, it's like a show. Like, I need to know, why did I get Funimation? Why did I get Crunchyroll? Like, I am not trying to fucking fuck around with this shit anymore and have to watch it fucking bullshit. Like, hit me with it. You know, like, I want next episode.
It's tough for me to. There's only so many shows out there that really get me like that. You know what I mean? And then it fucks me up because, like I was telling you about, like a little game, and I'll do the little game right now. We're talking about this before. If you ever have a Crunchyroll list, you have a watch list, right? And it's just depending on how you watch stuff and what order you go in. And I was telling Spencer off air, I was like, man, imagine you can only pick one show out of this list, you know? I had this row of shows, and this kind of ties into what we're talking about. But the row of shows is this: Tokyo Revengers, Jujutsu Kaisen, The Promised Neverland, Mukushu Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. If you were to ask me to pick one, I'm like, fuck off. I can't. They're all great shows. They're all toppers of their own categories of their own list. Yeah. I'm not going to pick one.
I mean, I could narrow it down to two for sure. But then between those two, it's fucking like...
I think my two and your two are opposite. Mine's
Jujutsu
Kaisen and Jobless Reincarnation.
Okay, yeah, mine's Tokyo Revenger, Jobless Reincarnation.
Okay. Yeah, I prefer Jujutsu more. Tokyo Revengers is really good, like really, really good. I really enjoyed it, but I prefer Jujutsu over that.
I think Tokyo Revengers gives more of like an overall overarching like.
The storyline's probably better.
Everything and not just like I love Jujutsu Kaisen. The Jujutsu Kaisen fucking
standard kind of. It's
like, for sure, but that's like that's like the new shonen. That's the new Bleach, the new Naruto. Yeah. All right, I hope it is. I hope it continues to go on for that long.
Yeah.
Whereas like Tokyo Revengers is a lot more nuanced, a lot more complicated.
Its own kind of lane. Yeah.
A lot more, you know, like there's so much more that's going on behind the scenes in that than like Jujutsu Kaisen's like, okay, destroy the demons. Okay, hey, you know, basic like I'm at school, I'm getting trained. Oh, hey, here's this next school, and whereas like you know Tokyo Revengers
was not predictable.
And then even too, you think and to that point, it's a little bit unfair when you try to compare the two because Tokyo Revengers has this whole time paradox fucking, you know, aspect going on to it where it's like, you know, well, that's not really fair to compare the two. But I mean, I think just obviously with a time paradox, there's so much more that you can add into it. I mean, it had motherfucking parts where I'm like fucking, wow, oh my god, they're fucking bastards. And there's parts over here where I'm like, I'm not fucking crying, dude.
You're fucking crying.
you know. So like, there's that. Like, it jumps all over the emotional spectrum, right? Like, it doesn't just sit in one fucking gear. It's and episode to episode. I mean, you get a strong variance of like, hey, here's one of the rare moments. I'm fucking blanking on what the main dude's name.
Oh, shit.
When he's blonde, dude, like, I fucking love him as that character.
Yeah.
He switches to not blonde dude, but the same guy. Yeah. He's like, I'm like, you little Thorfinn motherfucker, bro.
You
Like,
bitch. He gets way better though towards the end, though.
yeah,
Obviously.
I mean, he definitely like improves on that. But so I
Yeah.
mean, like to your point, yeah, it's exactly. It's just like it's kind of to what you're into, what you dig. But I think that's a great point into like a lot of people who don't know, who don't watch anime, wouldn't be able to understand that dilemma of like trying to.
Dilemma and breakdown.
And,
Yeah.
and not to say like the other shows too, it's like fuck, dude, you hate to throw those ones out, but like if you get to it, and I mean, really initially too for me, it's like, hey, you're talking about a 26 episode and a 24 episode,
There it is.
season over, a 12 or two 12ers.
2 12ers. Yeah, fair. That's a good point. And I've said that myself. I said 24, banger. It's almost always a banger, and it pretty much is. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I was kind of thinking, and you've brought up a great point. I do have an issue of jumping around too much. I've gotten to the point where I've looked at my list and I'm like, oh man, unless it's a top show, I barely remember shit about this show. Oh, let me look. Oh, wow, I only got 8 deep. So I probably liked it, but I didn't finish it because I'm watching One Piece or this. And those are all excuses, but that was probably likely what was happening. You know what I mean? And then I look at my list. I'm almost ashamed of myself, Spencer. So you've brought it to light. You know what I mean? If you've gotten this far with us, I'm going to do better. But if I'm going to do better, and I know Spencer's going to try more shows I'm going to watch, you better...
Shame.
Yeah, shame me. You better keep an open mind, fresh ears, and what? Fresh eyes.
Fresh eyes.
And you better get out there and check out some of these shows, guys. We want to hear your feedback. Spencer's going to watch. We didn't talk about it a lot because I don't want to ruin it. And now I'm forgetting the name. It's Reincarnation. It's so goddamn long. All these long show titles. I had it up. But the Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist in Another World. So Spencer's going to check that out. I'm sure we're going to bring that up next episode. That next episode is going to be much more about that show. A large portion of the show will be us talking about that show, breaking it down. We'll talk about it off air, like character comparison, da-da-da-da. So if the next episode you've watched it and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see their take on it, that's going to be a perfect episode for you. And we'll have a couple little things maybe towards the end to allude to other shows, maybe another interview coming down the pipe. Do you want to say anything to the fans out there, Spencer, before I wrap this bitch up?
Yeah, I think too. I mean, when you say that too, like it's a press. Hey, maybe like yes, I'm gonna watch the show. It depends on we got a week in between here. Maybe we won't finish it. We'll get to the point, but even too, we're gonna talk about the show. We're not gonna early on at least. We're not gonna spoil it. It'll be kind of like, hey, thoughts, where it's going, where it could be going, before we probably get into like a deeper aspect of it, right?
Fair point.
So it's like, don't just think, hey, fuck, I haven't seen this yet. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to tune in for this one, right? Still have that possibility. We're still going to be going over some other shit as well. But I think, like he mentioned in the beginning, right, we're going to try to, maybe for the next, 5 episodes, whatever, try to fine tune. I think a lot of people would agree when we say, hey, scatterbrain's not the right term right here, right? But we definitely go on tangents depending on what we're talking about, where we're at with it, how much I've drinking, how much like the other stuff is going on. But
there's a lot going on in the real world, guys, behind the scenes. Don't think that we're just out here slapdicking. I promise.
We gotta make money.
We gotta make money. We appreciate you guys listening. As always, reach out to our socials. That's a big aspect we're going to be pumping all the time. Highly Animated P, Highly Animated Podcast, Twitter, Discord, Instagram. Hit me up on fucking Facebook. I'll talk to you. We'll talk to you all day. With that being said, have a great fucking night.
Love it.